Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by RK Tractors, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Wasp Archery, Spot Hog Releases, RTP Outdoors, America's Best Bowstrings, Hoyman Tree Saws, and Realtree.
Well guys, it's Saturday, September 21st, and Jake and I decided to take a break from the urban hunt. We went out again last night and didn't see any deer. It's been hot all week, mid-80s, humid. Also lots of pressure on the public land in town that first week and often the first 2 weeks. So the deer moved in on us last night after dark when we were taking the stand down, and I just decided to take the day off. There's a bunch of thunderstorms moving through Iowa, and I put cameras out on all the farms I'm going to be hunting statewide on Labor Day and the following weekend. And so today we're going to try to make the loop and check the cams on all the farms. We're starting out at my little 52-acre piece down in Van Buren County. This is the one where the beans have really struggled. These beans were planted June 13th, and they still look really bad. They're only 4 to 6 inches tall, but every one of these little plants has pods on them. So I think they're gonna serve as a decent food source for late season. I did go ahead and bring a bag of autumn quick plot back here. I've been kind of on the fence between having the farmer just come drill rye into this versus just broadcasting some. They sprayed these beans with dicamba. These are dicamba beans, which is an herbicide, and they told me I couldn't plant brassicas for 60 days, but rye I could plant like 7 days after they sprayed it. They sprayed it in the middle of July. So I'm not sure what'll come up, but I'm gonna go ahead and broadcast a bunch of autumn quick plot, an acre or so worth, right in front of the redneck, just to try to get a little extra food here. I think it'll work out okay late season. I have about 7 acres back here of beans, and if they all have some pods on them, hopefully there'll still be some food for that late muzzy. The 5 acres up by the road is actually done fairly well. It's potted out nice, and it's 1.5 feet tall, or 1 foot tall. But I usually combine that up by the road to pay for the rest of the food plot. But I ran cameras once on this farm without corn, and I had 4 or 5 different bucks, mature bucks, and my neighbor found one of them dead in his pond. I'm not 100% sure which one it was. We're gonna try to go see if we can see it. We had filmed it from the road. It looks like I've got 2 big 8s. They might have little Nicker G4s, but they're basically big frame 8s that look like 150 class 8s, some 5.5-year-old bucks. So one of them for sure is dead, and we just pulled on the farm and there was a bunch of buzzards in the tree here. So we're gonna take a look around and see if we find any other dead deer. It's only 52 acres. There's not really a water source on it other than one little pond, and I just pulled up to it and there's nothing in it. There's not really a creek on it, so I think the deer, if they're dead, they're probably dead on the neighbor. But I've got 6 cameras out here. We're gonna get them pulled and then spread that autumn quick plot. We just made the move to our second farm of the day. It was about a 45-minute drive. Jake was able to flip through 5 out of 6 of the cards. The big 8 that I have history with from the year before, and was there early season on my previous card pull is still there. He's actually still in velvet as of September 18th. And then one of the deer I was hoping to find back, he's a really tall browed 10. He showed back up just this morning on camera, and he's hard horn. And he made quite a jump from last year. So really cool looking deer, lots of non-typical points. We did not make it over to see the dead deer from the neighbor that died of EHD. I did get the seed spread, and you know, it's pretty late for spreading autumn quick plot, but you know, what the heck, I put it out there and hopefully some of it germinates and we get a little more food there in front of that blind. A couple weeks ago, actually Labor Day weekend, Jake and I came out and we set 6 cameras out over corn, and we actually velvet filmed the bean field and actually filmed a pretty nice framed buck. And I'm really excited for this card pull. This area is a really good area. There's lots of cover, and looking forward to what's on these cameras. So this is our one main food plot on this farm, and it's about 5 acres. And just like Jared and I's, we got in here pretty late, but this one's looking good. I mean, you can see the sorghum, we've got the brassicas, we've got clover, we got beans intermixed in here. Excited to see what this farm will produce. We need to get a redneck up out here so we can hunt out here late season. We just got to our 3rd farm of the day. This farm is another farm that was new to me last year. It's a few hundred acres, nice mix of tillable and timber along the river here. I'm gonna get out and get these checked before it gets too dark on us. It's 6:15, and if we can get this one done pretty quick, we're gonna move on to my buddy's farm outside of town that I help manage. So, still got some work to do. So we just pulled up to our last farm of the day, and it's getting dark on us. It's basically dark. This is the farm that I help manage outside of town that I've hunted for years, and we did a lot of work on this summer. I want to get it done before I head home, just because I want to be hunting the next few days. So we're going to get out there on the 4-wheeler, go check all the cards. I got about 10 of them out here, and check on the food plot to see how things look. And then Jared and I's farm, I skipped over today because he is going to go check it tomorrow, along with some of his farms now that he's back from Montana. I've got a lot of cards to go through. The computer's been struggling today. Every camera has 2,500 to 3,000 pictures on it since I ran them over corn. And so I've got a solid 30 to 40,000 pictures to flip through. And that's going to take a while. But as we pick up some of these mature bucks on these farms, we'll show them to you on the blog. And then we'll catch up later this week as we get out. So the food plot looks pretty good. There's certainly some food in here. Lots of cocklebur and lots of grass, so it's going to be real weedy. But yeah, I think there's a reasonable amount of food, so it ought to work out for us. So I finally finished going through all of these cards. Yesterday was a fun-filled day of card pulls on 4 different farms, 25 cameras, about 60,000 pictures, 200 miles in the truck. Got back home about 10:30 last night. To review, the first farm we stopped at was my small farm down in Buren County. And there's a big 8 that I've got down there that's been really, really regular. And then one of the bucks that I've been hoping to find back, this tall browed 10, he showed back up actually yesterday morning. And he's a great looking deer. He made a nice jump from 4 to 5. And he'll be one I'll be looking for down there on that farm. And then we made the switch to one of the farms, one of the new farms that I have access to. I ran 6 cameras down there over corn. 3 or 4 of the cameras, 3,000 pictures of nothing but does and fawns and 1.5-year-olds. There's one really nice buck down there. It's a short tine 10 with a bunch of non-typical points. He's got a flyer off the right G2 and a split G2 on the left and some kickers at his bases, and he looks mature. There's another smaller racked mature buck on that farm, just a little 8, but I think there were no scrapes on any of the farms yesterday, really opening up like some of the farms around here. And so I think as they continue to move into their fall ranges and the scrapes start to open up, there'll be more new bucks showing up. But at least the first 2 farms each had nice mature bucks on them. The third farm we stopped at was closer to town here, not far from the other farm that I manage outside of town. It's about half and half tillable and timber. It's a farm that is new to me and I'm really excited about. I ran about 6 cameras there over corn and got multiple mature bucks. One of them is a really nice 10, actually this deer over my shoulder. Really nice, mature, typical 10. And he'll be one that I'll be working at patterning here and hunting. He's on 3 out of the 6 cameras and he's hard and he seems to be pretty regular in that area. So I'm hoping he'll stick around this fall and I can get an arrow in him. The last farm that we checked was the one that we checked cards on in the dark, and it's the one we did all the food plot work in. We had one, the food plots looked decent. I mean, I checked them in the dark, but I had a good light. The turnips are big. The plots are pretty weedy, but there's certainly enough food there that I think we'll have have some nice hunts over the food plots this year. That farm has the slowest cameras out of all of them, but one deer in particular that my daughters and I found the match set to last year showed back up on this card pull, and it's just a tight rack 6x6 mature deer, good browse on him. He showed back up, and there's a couple other mature bucks at 10. And then there's a younger deer that's pretty interesting, got some inside points and things like that. So Jared is pulling cards on our farm today to see if anything new has showed up since we switched everything to scrapes. And then Jake and I are going to run out to my new farm right outside of town here, and we're going to pull cards and try to get set up for youth season. I want to get 2 redneck blinds out, 2 of my trailer blinds, and maybe hang a set and get those cards pulled. Bella has a busy schedule. She's, a whopping 8 years old, but between school and friends' birthday parties and things, there's a lot of things she wants to do, and I'm going to keep encouraging her to get out in the woods, and we'll at least try to go sit and see what's moving out there. But we'll keep it coming to you guys on the blog as it happens.